Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for responding to this invite to be part of celebrating the life of our dear member, CA Muralimohan. Let's begin the proceedings with a prayer. May I invite CA Anusha to do the needful.
वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे, पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान नाने रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे, सकल लोक मां सहुने वंदे, निंदा न करे के नीरे। वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे, धन धन जननी चेनी रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जेने, दृढ़ वैराग्य जेना मन मारे। राम नाम शु ताली लागी, सकल तीरथ तेना तन मारे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। वन लोभी ने कपट रहित छे, काम क्रोध निवार्या रे। भणे नरसैयो तेनु दर्शन करता, कुल एको तेर तार्या रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे, पर दुखे उपकार करे तोए, पर दुखे उपकार करे तोए, मन अभिमान नाने रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे।
Thank you, Anusha. Muralimohan, born on 16th of May 1970 in Udupi to M. Govinda Bhat and Harini Bhat. He had his early schooling in Hubli and Belgaum, then on graduation at St. Aloysius College, Mangalore, and he stood second in the university in his final BCom examination. He went for articleship to Udupi with Maya and Associates. Muralimohan completed his CA in the year 1994 and became a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in 1999. He started his sole proprietorship practice in Mangalore immediately after qualification. Then on, he joined as a partner of Messrs. Manohar Chowdhury Associates in 2001, heading their Mangalore branch. He handled major audits for the firm Manohar Chowdhury and Associates, including central audits of Corporation Bank, Karnataka Bank, MRPL, Punjab and Sindh Bank, Phoenix ARC of Kotak Mahindra Group. He joined the SIRC of Mangalore branch committee in the year 2007. In 2008-9, he was the chairman of SICASA. 2009-10, he became the treasurer. 2010-11 as the secretary. 2011-12 as the vice chairman, and was elevated to the chairmanship in 2012-13, during which term several programs were held for the benefit of members and the students of Mangalore branch. To mention a few, a certificate course on direct taxation held with about 39 members attendance, had a state level CA students conference organized with a record delegation. Mangalore branch's website was revamped to make it user friendly, and for all the good work, Murli's team received the most commendable performance award in the Southern India region of ICAI. Murli was honored for the exemplary services rendered to the branch and the profession by the ICAI Mangalore branch in its Golden Jubilee celebrations in August 2020. He had a short stint as a Rotarian and as well as a Toastmaster. His quest for knowledge never stopped. He completed various certification courses throughout his professional careers as offered by ICAI and other organizations too. His better half, Vaishali, has been partnering him in every stage of his life. Dr. Rupali is a qualified medical professional. Few of us have expressed that they wish to talk about their what shall I say, time spent with Muralimohan basically, and offer Shraddhanjali. I would request T.N. Manoharan sir to please lead us in this. He is a past president of ICAI and also the founder partner of Manohar Chaudhary and Associates. Maybe you can offer Shraddhanjali.
Chairman of the Mangalore branch, CA Prasanna Shenoy, past chairman, senior members, special invitees, beloved family members of Muralimohan, and other esteemed colleagues of my profession, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are assembled here to commemorate the memory of Muralimohan and share our association with him in the past several decades. When you think of Muralimohan, we just recall a pleasing personality, a person who is versatile, dynamic, and who always vibrates happiness all around. And such a kind of a person, having been associated for about 3 decades, after he qualified in 1999, as MN Pai was mentioning, within a year I met him and quietly, suggested to him that why not we join in the firm to associate and carry forward our professional journey. I could clearly see the excitement, the dream, the passion he had to grow big. Even at that young age, he was very dynamic and enthusiastic, and therefore he joined us from 2001 onwards, Manohar Chaudhary and Associates, we call as MCA, as partner. And from then on, there was no looking behind for Muralimohan. And in the last 20 years, 21 years to be precise, his contribution was immense. In terms of policy formulations, knowledge management, support given to young partners or workforce and upcoming branches, bringing best practices into the firm, he was on the forefront. And he was always available and accessible to every human resource in the firm across geographies. We are spread in about 15 cities. And there is not a single branch or city which Muralimohan has not visited or supported for that matter. So that was his dynamism. And another unique aspect of Muralimohan is he is a person who knows how to strike work-life balance. He always had quality time for his family and at the same time gave the best for his professional career path. And in terms of his approach and attitude, I must mention this. He was never inhibited that he is not living in a metropolitan city to pursue the challenges of or the horizons of chartered accountancy profession. He was competing with the best in the metropolitan cities in Delhi or Mumbai, Chennai, anywhere. And as MN Pai rightly mentioned, he was front-ending and leading in all the major audits which we have done across India in the public sector space, public sector undertakings like MRPL and ONGC, and in terms of public sector banks, Corporation Bank or Punjab Sind Bank, and in private sector banks, Karnataka Bank. And he always had the quest for knowledge because he never wanted to do things half-heartedly. He had that meticulous way of and then delivering it to perfection. And another unique aspect of Murali, which I must narrate, is that any role a human being can think of, in the journey of life, we shine in some, fail in some. But Muralimohan is an example to learn as to how you can be an excellent, in every role that you play as a human being. Today, when Muralimohan joined our firm, I went to his native place, took the blessings of his parents in Udupi. Today, I visited them and just returned. And again, taking blessings, but never knew that I'll be taking blessings in the absence of Murali, physical absence of Murali. But nevertheless, the pride which the parents have about his son, the role of a son, how he played, and the role of a sibling, brother to his sister, and the kind of an husband he was to our beloved Vaishali, and the father role he played to Rupali in making her, Rupali, you should see the kind of vibration that has come on to her by the parenthood given by both Muralimohan and Vaishali. In MCA family meets, we used to have regular family meets, not only domestically, even abroad. The kind of talent displayed in terms of extracurricular activities that she has imbibed in her, and more so, our dream of becoming a doctor has fructified during his lifetime. That was a matter of solace for him in the last days, and I'm confident, she'll go to places to make our father's soul proud of her. And I must also mention about Vaishali, and if Murali, when I say he played all the roles on personal front, equally he was dynamic on the professional front. Like MN Pai narrated as to how he was effectively contributing to the Mangaluru branch in various capacities as part of the managing committee, later rose to the level of a chairman. And not only that, he was a very good teacher for the CS students taking classes. And he was a resource person for the chartered accountants themselves in seminars, conferences. How come he was able to do all this? The force behind him was Vaishali. She was such an enterprising lady. She was able to manage the family so well and give him the space and the energy to pursue all these dreams of his. And especially in the last 3 months when this ailment originated in the month of January or so, the kind of tough lady she was, she fought like a warrior in trying to protect him, preserve him, and give him the best of the medical care. But destiny had something different in store. And even I came here on 16th of March when he was convalescing in ICU, and I could see the way, he was recovering, and we were so optimistic and positive. The solace he must have had in his hospital bed in the Mangaluru ICU, as I can recall now, is the fact that his own daughter qualified as a medical professional, though it must have been the most painful experience for Rupali to attend to his father in that condition. But for Muralimohan, I think being in ICU is not a pleasant experience at all. But the only solace for him was to see that his daughter qualified, attending to him and discussing with the senior most doctors and trying to give him the best of the attention and treatment. Maybe that was the consolation for him. But nevertheless, a person who has been very active in social media and very jovial and very dynamic, I think he would not want us to mourn his demise forever. It is not that we are here just, okay, condolence, mourning is inevitable because we are unable to digest his physical absence. But Muralimohan being Muralimohan, and in his memory, we just cannot be mourning and suffering. He would like us to celebrate his life, celebrate his past. How in young age of 51 years, he had scaled so many heights. Reach out to any need from anyone. So from that angle, I think we must celebrate his life and we must practice the values by which he lived. And even as a chartered accountant, the kind of quality of services he rendered. I can see many of the clients here from renowned organizations like Corporation Bank, Karnataka Bank, and other institutions. So this all validates as to how he has implanted a kind of deliberate impression about his lasting impression about the professionalism he showed by maintaining independence at the same time meeting the expectations not only of the assignment given but also of all the statutory norms and regulations. So that was the philosophy. As far as he is concerned, he always practiced, even as chairman of the Mangaluru branch. I'm sure his predecessors and successors who are my good friends will vouchsafe that he always held the institution above individual, service above self. So that was his philosophy. He was never self-centric and he never sought name or fame. It came by merit, by the way he operated. So therefore, we must perpetuate his memory and enable all of us to cherish the way he lived. And therefore, on this occasion, I take the opportunity of requesting the Mangalore branch of SIRC of ICAI to institute an endowment in his name. And MCA Manoj Chowdhury and Associates will contribute a sum of rupees 5 lakhs in his memory as the corpus for that endowment. And the income derived from that endowment can be used to support the poor and needy students who are doing chartered accountancy curriculum in and around Mangalore or in nearby villages as well. So therefore, this is how Murali is only not physically with us. He is going to live within our hearts forever because, in human life, first 25 years or so, we learn, next 35 years or so we earn, but life becomes more meaningful when we share what we have learned and what we have earned with those who are in need of it. I think Murali practiced that. He shared and cared for everybody. Therefore, although ordinary human beings live up to a certain age, people like Murali will continue to live beyond their age in the hearts of all those lives whom he touched. And he never limited his challenges, he challenged his limitations. So therefore, he would be the right person using this endowment income in addition to supporting the poor and needy. Maybe annual lecture can be held to inspire and motivate students, CS students. So with that, concluding observation. Let me thank Mangalore branch for organizing this, condolence meeting so that we are able to share our association, our experience with our dear Murali, and enable others also to get inspired and, carry forward his memory. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing a lot of things about Murli, and special thank from the students community, because Murli has been with students and teaching and coaching and guiding students several times. I've come across, I've seen it personally. So a kind of endowment what you have created will definitely keep Murli's name with us forever. May I request the chairman of the Mangalore branch, Prasanna Shenoy, to do the honors.
Respected dignitaries present here. I am standing before you as a chairman of this branch because of the efforts put in forth by the past chairpersons and their tireless efforts, day-night efforts in making this organization a bigger one and efficient one. And CA Muralimohan Bhat, we fondly call him as Murali sir. And he was one of the past chairmen whom I think we can rely upon any day, anytime. So talking about Murali sir, I think my association with Murali sir started when my principal Jagannath sir was in the committee, and I think Chandramohan sir, many the committee members, Shamala ma'am, everyone were in the committee. And as a student of a principal, I used to accompany our Murali sir or join the team in organizing various activities. So I have seen closely from I think last 6-7 years, because I was in the committee from the last 3 years on various positions. The first thing, whenever any suggestions or any help required for the committee, Murali sir is always approachable. So there is no second thought whether he can do it or we can do it. He will always be there and he will always guide us as a committee member. And he was there always for the branch committee for any help. So as a student and as a young member, he has been a role model. I think most of the young members here, present here, would have seen him as a role model, because he was a perfectionist, or we might say very professional in his assignments or in his approach. So we used to attend his sessions, I think last 5 to 6 years. So we have been attending his bank audit seminars or any other sessions. Whenever the committee approaches him for a bank audit seminar, he used to take a session, and after his session, he used to sit in the first row here along with us and listen to other sessions, which generally no other speaker or no other resource person does, because he is always hunger for his knowledge, to improve his knowledge, to improve his thoughts, or to improve his professionalism. So wherever he finds an opportunity, he just grabs it and upgrades his knowledge and skills for his profession. So last interaction with him was in the month of Feb, when I was actually, the new committee was taking over the charge of the branch, and I just dropped a message to him. He called me back saying that no worries, I will not be there in person that day, but I will definitely make it over some other day and attend your program. So later on, I called him up again for the bank audit seminar. The entire bank audit seminar was structured with the help of Muralimohan sir that day, and we dedicated that seminar to Muralimohan sir, especially because his presence and his thoughts were there on that entire seminar. So being a branch chairman, I would like to say one thing: we have lost a big personality or big support for the branch, entire branch. maybe entire CA fraternity, I can say, rather than the branch. The students has lost their mentor. However, Murli sir used to say one thing. So his enthusiasm, his positiveness, and his thoughts, we have to take it forward. The ideas what he had of having a positive mind or having a positive approach towards the life. The other day I was discussing with Chandramohan sir. I think most of the professionals, the CAs, have difficult in balancing their personal life and professional life, because everyone is busy with their due dates, the compliance, everything. But Chandramohan sir identified one thing, that he was perfect in balancing those things, the personal life as well as the professional life. He was giving ample time for the personal life also. He was giving ample time for professional life also. So that's the way he was balancing his life. And I think we have to take it forward. Whatever his thoughts, his ideas are there, we'll just implement in our lives. And let us not think that Murali sir is not with us today. He is in our thoughts. We'll take it forward. Thank you, everyone.
We have with us Karnataka Bank Chief Operating Officer Balachandra YV. May I request you to please address the gathering.
Good evening, everyone. My association with Murali started way back in 1994. I had a brief stint with Manipal Finance Group of Companies. There, Murali was coming as an article for one of the companies in the group. I still remember how he was carrying out his work so seriously, even as a student for this particular course of CA. I remember one instance, not to be quoted. He was the one who pointed out even a lapse or non-compliance in the appointment resolution of the auditor in the particular company where he was auditing. One of the companies was having share capital by a nationalized bank with more than 25%. Companies Act at that point of time mandated the requirement of appointment of the auditor with special resolution. Unfortunately, that was passed as an ordinary resolution. He was the one who pointed out this. That was the way he was carrying out his work. Then, of course, I also moved out from the group and joined Karnataka Bank. And in the year 2018-19, when we were looking for a statutory central auditor's position, the first point for our management came up. Yes, we should have some local auditors. And finally, we ended up with MCA as one of the joint auditors for Karnataka Bank, starting with 2018-19, 19-20, and 2021. It is unfortunate that today Murali is not with us. A shocking news. I was traveling when I received this particular news from our CFO on 18th. I was in fact traveling, and it was shocking to everybody. Each and every member in the Karnataka Bank family was shocked. The background we were not aware. It was a sudden breaking news for us. A man who was so dynamic, so young, moving around us with a smiling face. We were unable to reconcile that he was no more. But life is very hard. Certain facts in the life, yes, hard to digest. During these 3 years of his association, There is one more irony. He would have been continued as statutory auditors of the bank had there been no change in the RBI guidelines. When MCA was appointed as one of the auditors of the bank, at that point of time, the tenure of the auditors in the private sector bank was 4 years. In between, when they completed 3 years, a new regulations came, limiting the tenure only to 3 years. Unfortunately, yes, we had to say goodbye and appoint new auditors. But I still remember the association of Mr. Murali with Karnataka Bank, how passionately he was taking that assignment and how energetically he was involving from the day one, including the planning of the audit, overseeing the running of that audit exercise, and finally concluding the audit. You all know that we have a structure of audit committee where auditors will be present and making their observation about audit findings. He introduced more professionalism into that kind of an interaction in the audit committee. He used to have a presentation, a structured presentation on the audit observation. And he was not hesitating in pointing out or responding to a particular question or a pointed question, be it on provision. I remember the instance, COVID related, some provision need to be created. There was a pointed question on the auditor. Are you satisfied with the amount of the provision made? Yes, he was categorical. There was no doubt whatsoever in his mind in replying or responding. That was the professionalism he was showing in his professional life. It was always an intellectual trait when discussing with Mr. Murali on any of the subject. Yes, we have the very good practice of interacting with the auditors almost on day-to-day basis when the audit assignment is going on. And there used to be like CFO bringing Mr. Murali to my chamber for some discussion on some of the parts. The way in which he was presenting his case, that itself was making us more comfortable, because an organization which always believes in addressing any of the audit observation, when it is so well presented or articulated, we had no other word of saying we will examine, etc. We have to agree. That was the way in which he was presenting his cases. Yes, speakers before have already spoken about the various virtues and the best practices he had followed. For Mangaloreans, yes, he's a well-known face, be it in electronic media or otherwise, a very, very familiar face. Everybody knows. During the budget also, there used to be, I think Namakodla used to host some program on budget. Yes, invariably Muralimohan was one of the resource person. So Mangalore is missing Mr. Murali as a professional. Yes, from Karnataka Bank also, we are paying homage to this great personality. We have been really benefited as an organization for various valuable suggestions and areas of improvement which Murali had suggested to the bank. We always remember his contribution. And my last interaction, it happened, I don't remember the month or the day or the date. I was just moving out of the office. He was in the lobby on the ground floor. We greeted each other. Then he said in Kannada, Nammanna Mariyabedi. Today, with all the grief, I'm saying, Murali, we are not forgetting you. We are carrying all your best work done to the organization, CA fraternity, to the students community forever. I pray the Almighty to give courage and strength to his family members to withstand and face this great grief moment in their life. And Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir. We have with us CA CG Pinto, ex GM of Corporation Bank. He had a working relation with Murali for a long time. I request him to please.
Beloved family of Mr. Muralimohan, Mrs. Vaishali and Dr. Rupali, Chairman ICAI Mangalore, distinguished members, bankers, ladies and gentlemen. It is unfortunate for me, or for that matter for every one of us, for this day, because Mr. Murali has left us untimely, prematurely. Mr. Murali is much younger to me. There is no way that I was associated with him during his student life or immediately thereafter. First association I had when I was posted back to head office, corporate office. I was working for Corporation Bank. I was the CFO from 2011. At that time, Mr. Murali visited our office and somebody introduced me being a CA because birds of the feather flock together. So that is the reason I think he must have approached him to get a sponsorship. And that is that event I had seen him with his youngster. I felt totally elated, full of enthusiasm, very dynamic person, very clear in communication, good persuasive abilities. I think his personality touched me. Thereafter, as I remember, it is in 2013. Central government appointed Messrs. Manor Chaudhary and Associates as one of the central statutory auditors. And Mr. Manoharan is here. That firm is very reputed and well known in the country. Mr. Manoharan is a founder and senior a partner of that firm, and Mr. Murali was heading the Mangalore branch. So immediately thereafter, I telephoned Mr. Murali, you are becoming our central statutory auditors, welcome. I think that is the first occasion. Thereafter, I think we never looked back. It is in 2013, I think during that time, I think when these appointments had taken place, it was a very challenging time for the banks. I think our fellow bankers agree with me. Very challenging time. And not only for the bankers, but for the auditors too. Because till 2012, there were a lot of profits. Banks were posting good amount of profits and providing for in excess liberally. From 2013, it was a difficulty because there was an avalanche of NPS thereafter for at least 3-4 years thereafter. And it was a very tough time. There was a lot of discussions with the auditors. It was a nightmarish, as a CFO, it was really a nightmarish experience. And with the auditors also, it was a challenging time. So we are looking for some sort of comfort from the auditors. There are a lot of discussions and sometimes heated exchanges also. And we are looking for any person with a soft attitude, at the same time, intelligent and dependable, and who is very strong in the subject and who can persuade the members of the team. And we found that Mr. Murali is one of them, and important, I think, is I can say, He is the leader in that. And we were putting across all our facts before them. We are not hiding anything. We are very transparent because transparency only generates trust, because trust the biggest trust. And Mr. Murali was able to bring around all the people, all the auditors for a consciential view, because ultimately they cannot sacrifice their auditors' integrity, professional integrity, and RBI guidelines they cannot go against, but at the same time they can see where there is a possibility of helping the situation. I think that way I will never forget the help of Mr. Muralimohan. Basically, he was making us, despite I think he was very, I have not seen him getting angry. He was a patient listener, first of all. And that is the reason we were able to discuss with for a very feasible solution. And this contribution of Murali made me to this one, respect him very much. And the trust what we developed, it is the trust. I think that is the most important for any human being is the trust. If trust is lost, everything is lost. Trust, biggest trust. Thereafter, though I retired, and they also, I think their term is also over. But thereafter also we continued the same sort of interaction and communication because of that trust. Otherwise, with their exit and my retirement, the relationship would have ended. Then we used to meet every quarter for some tea at Woodlands, interact on certain things like professional things or general things. And he was sparing time for me for that. That is this one. It was going on. Maybe during COVID time, there was a break maybe. But even, I think, 3 months before this unfortunate day, fateful day, we had met in his office. And on that day, this one, that fateful day, I was not here. I was in Bhubaneswar. And it was a lightning like to me as well as all of us that to know that Mr. Murali will be no more with us. Now to dwell upon his virtues, great virtues he had. I can refer here a parable of Good Samaritans. I will not go into details to say what is the parable of Good Samaritan, but there are 3 sets of people. One is, and these 3 sets of people will make up the virtues or character, behavior of the entire human kind. First set is oppressors or evil doers, evil thinkers. They will harm others. That is first set of people, and either directly or indirectly. Second set of people are the indifferent type of people who will do good, no harm, no good. And third set of people are generous, kind people, and their smile itself will cure so many ills. That type of people, very kind, generous, and with a lot of patience. And shade above that, they are the Good Samaritans. They are the people who are going beyond their call of duty. And there is a consistency in their behavior, and they will never oscillate between the other 2 categories. They will stick to that. And even if they do it also, it is like a death to them, though they are living. And I am proud to say, Mr. Murali belongs to that category of, he was a Good Samaritan, a very kind-hearted person. And we are the professionals. We are also rendering service to our customers. We also require a lot of knowledge gaps to be filled up. I think Mr. Murali was filling up that. I have seen in so many of our conferences, he was the resource person. Being a resource person it is not easy. He has to prepare a lot for that. And after that also, I seen in the group, he is the major contributor for any clarification that is required by the members. And I was also benefited from him because any doubts and concern, I had also called him up many times, but he never said no for anything that I don't have time or anything, because he had always time for helping the people. And as a result, so many are immensely benefited in rendering or their professional services and make a good living status and self-actualization. And to say that now that in the invite, there is a this one caption to remember Murli Mohan. It is easy that we do it every day, but to miss him a pain which will never go away. Real, it is very real. It is painful. I fully understand, because and the near and dear one will understand it much more, and they feel it very much. Only time can cure. I think time, with the time is the biggest soother. I think with the time, this your pain will come down with the this one, because I seen that only time is the major soother for every this type of things or tragedies. So on this occasion, I pray Almighty to give strength to this family, his dear and loved ones, to bear the loss. And I also pray for Sadgati to him, let his soul rest in eternal peace. We are all fellow travelers, yet about his journey, one day we'll join him. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak few words on my dear colleague, dear friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Pinto sir. We have Karthikeyan, GM Finance from MRPL. I request him to please address the gathering.
Dear one and all, good evening. Today we all are gathered here to express our grief for the departed soul of our beloved CA Muralimohan Bhat sir, and offer our condolences to the family of the departed soul. I recall my association with Muralimohan sir since 2005, when I was working for Corporation Bank Head Office, Pandeshwar. Later on, when I joined MRPL, I had a close association with him from 2017 onwards, as he was appointed as one of the statutory auditors as a partner of Messrs. Manohar Chaudhary and Associates, Mangaluru, from financial year 2017-18 with Sridhar Suresh and Rajagopalan, Chennai, which continued till 2019-20. At that time, the joint auditors was Venkatraman and Company, Chennai. I still remember the days when I met him in his Vijay office when we got the first appointment. After receiving the appointment letter, to brief him about MRPL, to know about his audit plans. During my first meeting itself, he was very keen and had a knowledge of refining industry also. But he has not done the audit, but he knows. He was knowing about the refinery sector. Then our close association with him during the 3 years, we found him was very good in his approach, and being a past chairman ICAI Mangaluru also, he had maintained good listening with all the CAs, and we are having around 20 CAs in our MRPL, and he made us also to join the group which he has created. And as a thorough professional, He used to guide whenever there is a difference of opinion among the auditors. During CAG audit also, along with liaising with CAG audit at Chennai office or here, wherever difference of opinion was there, he used to guide us, and we used to always get nil comments from the CAG audit team. From MRPL also, on that day, 18th March, it was very shocking in the evening, and all of us gathered to confirm whether it is a correct news. After that also, after going home also, I received so many calls from Chennai officers and other colleagues, whether it is a true. This shows that how good human he was. And he had good relation with each and everyone. And another thing, profession also, after 6, 7 o'clock, he used to leave our office. Means he used to spend time for his family also. We never used to work up to 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock like other auditors. Next day he will come and see. He will give us also time to work. So he was very friendly with us. And sometimes we also make mistakes, but he said, okay, you take time. We'll see next time. So this is his great, this one. And in MRPL also, during our one of the meeting, even our DF, everyone, we were very this one, and 1 minute silence was observed in our office also. So we all, on behalf of MRPL and my colleagues, CA colleagues in our office, express our deepest condolences and pray Almighty to give enough courage and strength to his family members to observe this shock, sudden and sudden demise of our beloved sir. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Karthikeyan. As we have more people, I request the speakers to maybe control their time, maybe 2 to 3 minutes per person, maybe. Moving on, we have CA Abdul Rahman Muspa representing Cardolite.
Good evening, everyone. It is a very sad moment for all of us to gather here to offer condolence for CM Murli sir. When I came to Mangalore, when I entered the CA Institute first time for a program, Murli sir at that time was a committee member. And when I entered, he just welcomed me, asked about me because I was new to Mangalore, spoke to me, and then introduced to other committee members. From that time, our friendship grew with Murli sir. Whenever we meet him, he'll always welcome and have a pleasant smile and good friendship he will develop. And later, when I was in Mangalore SZ and in OMPL, he became the internal auditors. And later, in when I joined Cardolite, we want US management wanted change auditors, and then they asked me who's the auditor. I recommend Muralimohan sir. Then our CFO came from US. He met him and he was impressed, and then we appointed him. He always involved me in institute activities, and then he was instrumental to bring me in the committee for which I was for 6 years. Recently, was very upset with me for not continuing the chairman of this because he told he'll support whatever it is, but then due to his untimely death, he's no longer with us. So we cannot forget, sir, it was a very, I was not here in Mangalore auto station, but that full night we could not sleep thinking of Murli sir and his family. It was a upset moment for all of us. So with that few words, I would like to conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Muspa. We have Sambat Talkal from Manoj Chaudhary and Associates. Would like to share some views.
Good evening, everyone. So before talking about Murli sir, so I did my articleship with him on April 2011. So now it is April 2022. So I have spent 11 years with him. So if I consider the time spent with him, and if I consider the time spent with him father, so actually I spent more time with him. So what actually he had influence on me, it is more than what my father had. So during my articleship time, so he was a employee for me, but after that he became a mentor, and after that he became a guide. In the last 1 year, he started to become as a friend. We used to share some my personal problems I used to share with him, and he used to also help me in that. So my relation with Melissa was changing every year. So this thing used to happen. So basically, what I learned basically from him is the three qualities which we should have in our life. First one is that patience, and second one is the forgiveness, and the third one is that you should understand if any person is talking to you, you have to understand what is his point of view. These are three things I learned from him. See, if I have to tell that one example to understand what the other person is telling, actually during my articleship time and some after 1 or 2 years, I have to travel around 90 kilometers per day by train. So I have a train to catch at 6:50, but in every week there is another 3 trains which start 8 o'clock from Mangaluru. So he used to get the clients into the office. Most of the clients can come only after 6 o'clock. So ensure that it won't clash with my train schedules. So always think from my point of view. So always try to so that it won't affect my daily this thing. So in addition to that, when that previous month 18th news came, so I was in a meeting with some of the clients. So actually, as Manoharan sir told, we are expecting 2 days before, we are expecting that he will be actually 2 weeks before he gave me a call saying that 15th I'll be at office, we will review what is going to happen. So 15th he told me he'll be there, then 18th is not there. So one thing I understood from that basic main lesson, things I learned from is that birth is not in our control, death is not in our control. But I learned from him how to live the time in between these 2 points. So that was one of the best, highest loss which happened to in my life. Thank you.
May I request Chandramohan, the past chairman of Mangalore branch?
Respected members, students, invited guests, and admirers of CA Muralimohan, I, CA Chandramohan, stand before you to share a few momentous occasions of our warm friendship for a very long period of over 34 years. But considering the situation and the time, I'll try to be as brief as possible. I have known CA Muralimohan since 1988, when I was in the final year BCom at St. Aloysius College, Mangalore. Murli was 1 year junior to me at college. It so happened that the final year BCom students had an issue with the college administration on the selection procedure for award of prizes at the college annual day function. As the issue was not settled, the final year BCom students decided to boycott the annual day function. Muralimohan and his friends in the second year BCom decided to stand by us, and this made the entire commerce batch students stand behind us. Eventually, the college administration saw reason in our principled stand and arrived at an amicable solution. This was my first experience of CA Muralimohan's ability to take a principled stand and live up to that. Another instance I wish to recall is his farsightedness. Even as a student in 1988, he enrolled for the 10-month diploma course in computer applications conducted by NIIT, which was a very costly course for those days and very uncommon amongst or for commerce students. He had the farsightedness to visualize the importance of computer applications, and that stood him in good stead in later years. Even to this day, I vividly remember the 4 hours that we spent together at his uncle's place on the day before the dreaded mathematics exam of the CA intermediate examination in November 1991. Both of us cleared our CA final examination in November 93, and he was at our place, our residence, when he conveyed the exam results from Mangalore to his parents at Udupi. Those days, it was not the age of internet, it was only the teleprompter or the telex message would come to the branch and all of us would come to know. So the communication was not as developed as it is these days. Our initial plans was to establish a CA practice as partners, did not go through because of some reasons, but this did not impact our close friendship in any manner. A place like Mangalore has its own limitations when it comes to the practice of chartered accountancy, but Murali had the capacity to think out of the box. He succeeded in enrolling as a partner in a large multi-location firm. He is perhaps one of the very few CAs of Mangalore who can boast of being the engagement partner or the signing partner of very large corporates like Corporation Bank, Karnataka Bank, MRPL, etc. His association with a large firm as a partner compelled him to spend a lot of time outside Mangalore and involved a lot of travel. Even with such continuous commitments, he was one of the very few persons I have seen who had a wonderful and enviable work-life balance. His family will vouch for this. I think he epitomized the buzzword, work hard, play hard, but enjoy life to the fullest. Even with the association with the large accounting firm, he found the time and energy to serve the Mangalore branch, the managing committee of the Mangalore branch with distinction between 2007 and 2013. Both of us joined the managing committee together in 2007. One quick incident to just tell how professional he was. Though we were very close, the professional is in him. We have a practice in the managing committees across branches that each of us graduate from one level as a member, then the SICASA chairperson, then the treasurer, secretary, to go on to be the chairman. So he succeeded me as the treasurer, though we were very close friends, very close buddies. But he said, if I have to take the mantle of treasurership from you, you should give me the accounts in spick and span and hand it over in the most formal way. That is the type of independence between two friends. CA Muralimohan succeeded me as the chairman of the Mangalore branch in 2012, and we had a very wonderful time together at the managing committee of the branch. Dear friend Murali, one thing that we will always remember and cherish is your gracious smile. Your ability to remain cool and composed in the most trying circumstances is most admired. You have proved it time and again during your lifetime, during the period of your illness, and during the last days of your life in this world. Dear friend, wherever you are in the heavenly abode, keep smiling and rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
May I now request CA Giridhar Kamath, please come forward.
Good evening, everyone. We'll be missing the most able administrator of our WhatsApp group who created the group for Mangalore. We'll be missing, as professionals, as chartered accountants, we'll be missing Murali, a coach and a ready reckoner for all of us. And as bank auditors, we'll be missing a coach, a third umpire, and a person who always used to share the tools of audit with all of us during the conferences. And more than all this, I will be missing a friend who always used to speak to me in Tulu and always had that electrifying smile. Thank you.
Thank you, Giri. May I request Shamala Shanai?
Good evening, everyone. If Murli was here, he would ask us, why are you all putting on such a sorrowing face? Come on, cheer up. All my memories with Murli are full of jokes, funny incidents. And Murli, I'm sorry, I can't share it at this stage because the pain in our heart is so strong. It is too bad we have lost you. But I'm sure I'll promise you we'll have another gathering where we'll share all the wonderful moments that we shared with you. My husband and me both were good friends of his in different capacity. My husband Rangnath and I always used to have a communication with him professionally. He sent his last message, I think, on the day he passed away and was wondering why he didn't reply. I was so jealous of my husband because in my mobile, the last message was, I think, about 4 or 5 months back. Murli had changed his DP and he gave us an indication that he's leaving. And I felt so sorry that I didn't see his DP for a long time. I realized how much I had not kept contact with him. But I am not regretting it at all. Because the first time I was his secretary when he was the chairman of the Mangalore branch. And the first time he came to know he had some weakness, and we were both sitting and discussing some institute matters. And I came to know him from the first test that he did for his illness. And a few days he told me about what was going on. And I met him after the chairmanship. I could meet him only after 8 or 9 months. And that time when I was in a quiet corner, I asked him, how are you, Murli? He said, I'm not talking about my illness. So beautiful. I like that attitude of his. From that day onwards, the only thing that I can see on his Facebook, the travels, how he is traveling, how he's taking up big assignments. Hats off to you, Murli. All of us have praised him for the work-life balance. But I can tell you today that I give more credit to Vaishali for the work-life balance because she had never competed with all his commitments in life. She was always supportive of him, and I think she reaped the benefit because he was always there for us. My greatest wish today is that Rupali and Vaishali, you must continue the travel when the pain in the heart is a little less. Show Murli that you live life the way he wanted you to live, and we will all be waiting to see all your beautiful photos, just like they were when they were with Murli. Thank you.
May I request Past Chairman S.S. Naik to come forward?
अनंतनामधेयाय सर्वाकार प्रदायिने समस्त मंत्रवाच्याय विश्वैकपतये नमः. I pray Almighty to give us strength to withstand against the sudden shock of Murali no more with us, for entire his family as well as entire our CA Parivar. Really, it is a shocking news. because my interaction was Murali was also very intimate. Even during his chairmanship also, lot of training programs he conducted, seminars he conducted during his SICASA as well as SICASA chairmanship as well as Mangaluru branch chairmanship. I used to actively send almost all our students as well. I used to involve also in the activities because he interacts with people in such a way that he believes in, while interacting with any person, he generates light more than heat. Our good friend, past chairman, MN Pai just told to brief about speak, but to talk briefly about Muralimohan, it is like capturing 7 seas water in a small bottle. It is very difficult, but still 2-3 minutes I will speak. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Yadyadacharati shreshtaha tatta devataro janaha sa yat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. Muralimohan, he was a role model as a student. As our Chandramohan has already mentioned, being his college mate. Even during his student days, even as a SICASA chairman, during as a chairman of Mangaluru branch, as a faculty in conducting various seminars as a resource person, and whenever anybody, it is like our Giridhar Kamat also told, whenever anybody had any doubts, without pettiness, he used to share with clarity in thoughts. Really, we should salute his personality, his stature, and his humbleness. I always remember to describe the personality of Muralimohan in small one Subhashita. Vadanam prasada sadanam sadayam radayam sudamucho vachaha karanam paropa karanam yesham kesham nate vandyaha. Vadanam prasada sadanam. Face is the index of mind, always with prasannataya mukha. Sadayam radayam, always ಸಹೃದಯವಾದ ಒಂದು ಹೃದಯ. ಸುಧಾಮುಚೋ ಮಾತಃ ಸುಧಾಮುಚೋ ವಾಚಃ, ಸವಿ ಮಾತು, ಅವರ ಮಾತು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸವಿ ಮಾತು. ಕರಣಂ ಪರೋಪಕರಣಂ, whenever we want any support or any help, he always one step ahead. He always used to support. When I was the chairman of Mangaluru branch, whenever we wanted any speakers for any particular topics, he used to select the best of them and used to recommend best speakers as well as best topics. Because of that only I could really do some good work during my chairmanship also. Such people are respected by all. ನಮಗೆ ನಾವು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಯಾವುದು ಗೋಪಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅಡಿಗರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಬದುಕು ಜಟಕ ಬಂಡಿ, DVG ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಬದುಕು ಜಟಕ ಬಂಡಿ ವಿಧಿ ಅದರ ಸಾಹೇಬ, ಕುದುರೆ ನೀನ್ ಅವನು ಪೇಳ್ತಂತೆ ಪಯಣಿಗರು, ಮದುವೆಗೋ ಮಸಣಗೋ ಹೋಗೆಂದ ಕಡೆಗೋಡು, ಪದ ಕುಸಿಯ ನೆಲವಿಹುದು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಧಿಯ ಆಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೂ ಅತೀತರಲ್ಲ. ಜಾತಸ್ಯ ಮರಣಂ ಧ್ರುವಂ, ಯಾರು ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು ಸಾಯಲೇಬೇಕು. ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಸತ್ಯ, ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯರು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಹಿಂದೂ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಿದವರು 32ನೇ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ದೈವಾಧೀನರಾದರು. ಆದರೆ ಅವರು ಮಾಡಿದ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯ ಯಾರಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ಇಷ್ಟರವರೆಗೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು ಕೂಡ ಕೇವಲ 39ನೇ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಪರಂಧಾಮಗೈದರು. ಆದರೂ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಧರ್ಮವನ್ನು ಇಡೀ ಜಗದಗಲಕ್ಕೆ ಪಸರಿಸಿದ ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಲ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಯಾರಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುರಳಿ ಅವರು ಕೇವಲ 52 ವರ್ಷ ಬದುಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ 52 ವರ್ಷ ಬದುಕಿದಾಗ ಅವರು ಮಾಡಿದ ಕಾರ್ಯ, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಫುಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನೆವರ್ ಫರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ಶತೇಶು ಜಾಯತೆ ಶೂರಃ ಸಹಸ್ರೇಶು ಚ ಪಂಡಿತಃ ವಕ್ತಾ ದಶಸಹಸ್ರೇಶು ಉತ್ಕೃಷ್ಟ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಶೋಧಕಃ ಭವತಿ ವಾ ನ ವಾ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶತೇಶು ಜಾಯತೆ ಶೂರಃ, ಬ್ರೇವ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 1 in 100. ಸಹಸ್ರೇಶು ಚ ಪಂಡಿತಃ, wise man only 1 in 1000. Vakta dasasahasreshu, the speaker is only 1 in 10,000. So ದಾತಾ ಭವತಿ ವಾನವ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಈಗ. ಉತ್ಕೃಷ್ಟ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಶೋಧಕ ಭವತಿ ವಾನವ. ಉತ್ಕೃಷ್ಟ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಶೋಧಕರಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಒಂದು ಕೊಡುಗೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮುರಳಿಯವರು. ಮುರಳಿಯವರ ಈ ಒಂದು ಫುಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದು ಆದರ್ಶ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಯಾವ ಮೋಹನ ಮುರಳಿ ಕರೆಯಿತು ದೂರ ತೀರಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನ್ನದು, ಯಾವ ಮೋಹನ ಮುರಳಿ ಕರೆಯಿತು ದೂರ ತೀರಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನ್ನದು, ಯಾವ ವೃಂದಾವನವು ಸೆಳೆಯಿತು ನಿನ್ನ ಮಣ್ಣಿನ ಕಣ್ಣನು. We cannot tolerate this shock, but as our predecessor told, time will definitely heal this shock. Thank you. Sir, T.N. Manoharan sir, I request you to kindly hand over this portrait to the family members as a token of our respect to C.A. Muralimohan.
Thank you, SS Naik. May I request Jagannath Kamath to come forward?
Colleagues in the profession and members of Muralimohan family. It was really shocking that Murali is not with us today. This beautiful auditorium where you are sitting, the construction was started when the Murali was the chairman of this branch in the year 2012-13. Immediately after the foundation, which took place when Chandramohan was the chairman, because of the licensing formalities, the construction was delayed, and Muralimohan, after taking over as the chairman of this branch, the construction started. But after 2 months of the construction, one fine morning when I was traveling to Chennai, Murali called me, Kamatre, adu building idella javadari neevu correct agi ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. I asked Muralimohan, why are you telling like that? ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಿ, next 2-3 months I will not be available. I am out of station. So I thought maybe that he has usually he goes for audit outside with the MC and associates. But after coming back, maybe in the month of August or September, I met Murali. What happened, Murali? Why you are not there? ಇಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ನನಗೆ ದುಃಖ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ದ ವೇ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್, ಕಾಮತ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನದ ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ನೋಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಅಪ್ಸೆಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ನೋಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನನಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. So sitting with him for half an hour, he told me all the issues. From then onwards, every time when he used to, because we never, me and Muralimohan never discussed about the professional matters in our friendship. In 2011, when he came to my office along with Chandramohan to persuade me to join this committee. After that, till now, I have not discussed about the professional matters, but we were very close family friends. I consider him as a member of my family. That was our relationship. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸರ್ತಿ ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುವಾಗ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ನಾನು ಮುರಳಿ ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ ನೀವು ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಎಂಥೂಸಿಯಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ he was, because every time I used to, ಈಗ ನಾನು ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಕಾಮದ್ರೆ, ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್, ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಲೈಫ್, ವಿತ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಲೈಫ್. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್, ನೀವು ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಸಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಗೇಟ್ ಅಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಲೈಫ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Today we have lost a good friend of mine. All other speakers, all the speakers who have expressed that he was very meticulous. I have seen, because whatever the construction was going on, the bills passing, everything, I used to go to his office to get the clearance and all. ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್, ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ಈ ತರ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇದ್ರು. ಇವತ್ತು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎ ಗುಡ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್. ರಿಯಲಿ I could not give my last respect because I was not in station on 15, but when MNP posted on 15 that Murli requires blood, I was really upset. I called MNP 5-6 times. What has happened? Because I knew that once he has told red light, so maybe some issue is there. After 2 days, I was called by Anantnayan Pai of Udupi. First message came from Udupi branch, said that whether the news has come, whether it is true or not. Then I called my colleagues, then they said yes, it is true. Family has lost their pillar. Murli is a good man, very humble, very polite. ಅಜಾತ ಶತ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶತ್ರುನೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮುರಳಿಗೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಶಿಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅವರ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಹಂಬಲ್ನೆಸ್, ಗುಡ್ human being, he has become close to God and God has taken him away. Definitely, God will give enough strength to the family of Murli to bear this loss. And we have lost a good friend of ours in Mangaluru branch. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagannath Kamath. May I request one of his students, C.A. Shubhada?
On behalf of all the article students, I would like to share some of our happy moments spent with sir. So I was very lucky for having done my articleship under the guidance of Murli sir. He was a fatherly figure to me. Also, for one of the reasons that he was my father's age. As known to every CA student, during the tenure of articleship, we spend more time in the office than at home. And that is why we get a second family in the office. And Murli sir ensured that we felt homely and we were in our comfort zone. He would celebrate every person's birthday in the office by cutting a cake and also ordering his all-time favorite Ideal Gutbud ice cream. He would also celebrate Christmas and New Year with us. Once he had arranged for an office party where all his alumni and we students had a lot of games and we had so much fun. The next Christmas, we had been to Chikmagalur. He had taken us on a trip. And that was the first trip my parents allowed me to go with my friends because they trusted sir and his family a lot. So we had a lot of fun trekking and enjoying the nature's beauty. Sir was always cheerful, smiling, enthusiastic, and he ensured that fun at work is equally important for a healthy mind and body. One of the most admirable thing about sir is he always kept himself updated professionally. He knew the latest laws and rules even before we students read it. He never stopped learning, and behind his success was his hard work and passion to grow as a professional. He also encouraged us to study more and more. He believed in his students and gave us the exposure because of which I am a CA today. I still remember when sir had called me inside his cabin during one of the client discussions. And after the client left, I told sir that I had not understood the points he spoke to the client. And without losing his temper or patience, sir nicely sat and explained to me all the things that was relevant. And he was, in a very friendly manner, he addressed our queries and encouraged the students. He would prepare himself before every meeting, seminar, or talk that he had to give. He even guided us for our academics. He would give us suggestions on the examination approach and the preparations that we need to do from our end. He was so down to earth. He would ask our suggestions sometimes regarding client matters, though we were not CAs back then. And also, he was very keen on learning. He also learned a lot of technology related stuff from my colleagues who were IT experts. He encouraged all his students to take part in Sikasa activities, and he himself would join in cheering his students. This was Murli sir in my eyes. Every minute of those 3 years is memorable, and I will cherish it for a lifetime. Thank you, sir. You will forever be the best boss.
I request past Chairman K.S. Kamath, please come forward.
Members from our fraternity, students, ladies and gentlemen. Untimely, sad demise of Muralimohan is a great loss, not only to me, even to our Mangaluru branch and our fraternity as a whole. He was very kind-hearted and he used to talk to everyone with a humorous talk. He used to call me as KS. Thanks to the arrangement in our institute that I met such a very good friend in our CPE program. And after that, I used to meet him frequently in various programs or even game sports events too. I have plethora of memories with him, which I would like to share couple of events. Immediately after the corona broke out, it was locked down, and I thought I should not waste the time, so I called him. So during that time, he had not received a call. Later, I got the call. Enchina case. So I asked him, what? Now we are busy? And he told, no. He told that I had gone for a walk. And after that, I told him, why you called? I told him, I just wanted to study Indias. So we believe me, within 5 minutes of time, he sent all the articles and all the syllabus, whole syllabus, and even gave a good tips to me. In other occasions too, he was a co-panelist in some of the TV programs, and during that time also he used to boost confidence so that I can give that program. So I also watch that my senior members or what Prasanna has told. For each and every program, let it be seminars or even national conference, he used to participate, used to guide, and not only informing us, he used to arrange various resource person, and after confirming that yes they are coming, he used to close that one. Till that much he was associating in that. And today he might be far from our face, but not from our heart. I wish he attend eternally peace. Thank you.
We have with us Lionel Noronna, his close friend and classmate. Yeah.
office bearers and members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, invited dignitaries, guests, friends, and family members. Dear Murli, all that we love becomes a part of us. And you are so loved so much, gone from our sight, but not from our hearts. Murli's wife, Vaishali, sent me the condolence message card. Dates mentioned below his photograph read 16th May 1970, 18th March 2022. Before I scroll the subsequent message, I was just pondering on the dash in between the dates 1970, 2022. So much of substance and significance the dash held. I met Murli on the first day of our college at St. Aloysius College in 1987. Should be in the month of June. After the briefing we had, we were made to settle down in a class, and our first class was to be of English. The lecturer was standing outside and waiting for the bell to sound. Since I had come from Porbandar, Gujarat, I was impressed to see the personality of this lecturer. Tall, 6'1", 6'2", very fair, with a French beard. And I asked my fellow mate his name. And he said his name is Ralston Macedo. Somebody commented that Macedo the torpedo. I blushed, and the same was noticed by him. The first thing, he comes into the class and says, "You boy in the striped shirt, get out of my class." That was the beginning of my college life in St. Aloysius College. Being new to the college and the campus, did not know where to go. Hence started from the ground floor of the college, where the notice boards were, from one corner to the other. After I finished the one side of the notice board, and when I was crossing over to the other side, I meet Murli. He introduced himself, and destiny made us friends for life. I had the privilege of knowing Murli during my college days. I may be breaking a few glass. Soon after this, we had a college strike, and Murli took the initiative to gather 2 more friends, and a plan was made to go to Kadri Park. We get down at Vijay. Murli picks up a few bottles of beer, and we proceed to Kadri Park. I never had the privilege of indulging in mischief much in school, as my mother was a teacher in the same school where I was studying. And I, coming from a tri-state Gujarat, this was my first introduction to beer. Murli soon quit, but I have stayed loyal to it. Murli was always so full of energy, part of every activity in the campus, active member of the different associations of the college, and always played the character of Gandhi in skits and dramas. An active member of the well-known Kali gang of St. Aloysius College 1987-90 batch. During college, he was also pursuing a diploma in computers from NIT, also a good student with roll number 71. Unfortunately, always sitting in front of me in the examination hall, as after MN follows. In the final year of college, we had to choose an optional subject, business administration and income tax. My father, being in accounts all his life, advised me to choose income tax as an optional subject, the subject I never understood in college and always hated being in business. If not for Murli sitting in front of me, I would not have got the 36 marks I had got in my final BCom. Murli did St. Aloysius College proud by securing the 2nd rank in the final BCom examination from Mangaluru University. After college, Murli joined Maya and Associates for his articleship, and I started working in sales. The area of operation being undivided Dakshin Kannada, we are in constant touch since I used to travel to Udupi and Manipal regularly. Before meeting Vaishali, Murli was in love with Madhuri Dixit, and I used to always have the privilege of watching all Madhuri Dixit movies with Murli in Kalpana Theatre in Udupi. I joined Colgate Palmolive and shifted to Shimoga. Soon after a CA final exam, we went out to a trip to Joke Falls in the peak of monsoon on a bike. After completion of CA, he started his office in Rosario Complex, Managudda. I, along with Kevin, who is also our college mate, started Global Distributors, distribution for Hindustan Liver. And Murli was the one who did the entire groundwork, making the project report and getting us even the financial assistance from Karnataka Bank. He was then actually a Karnataka Bank internal auditor. We have been his clients since then. Murli had Camco as his clients, and I have accompanied Murli and his young team on their stock audit visits to Shimoga and Uttar Kannada district since I was well versed with the geography. My personal experience with Murli on professional front was very fruitful, as he has always guided us well and never cutting corners. Soon after, Murli became part of Manohar Chaudhary Associates, and then there was no looking back. The list of clients is a testimony, and I'm sure the professional guidance and advice would be greatly missed by all his clients. Murli always remained simple and no nonsense. I actually like watches, and when I bought a new watch, I showed it to him. And Murli said, it's a waste of investment. Watches are outdated. And even if you wear a Rolex today, you will never be on time. On personal front, he was extremely attached to his family and his sweet little daughter. She is no more little, for she is a young doctor today. Rupali, your dad was always very proud about you. And you have definitely lived to his expectation. I will conclude by saying a few lines from an unknown author. Don't think of him as gone, as his journey has just begun. Life holds so much facets, the earth is only one. Think of him as resting in a place of warmth and comfort, where there are no days and years. Let's think of him as living in the hearts, for he has touched us all. Vaishali and Rupali, for nothing loved is lost, and he loved us so much. May our condolence bring you comfort, and our prayers ease your pain. Murli, my friend, goodbye until we meet again.
Thank you, Lionel. May I request Paul Varghese?
Evening is turning into night. Friends, everyone here is here because Murali touched the lives of each one of us. It's a great thing to be able to achieve in the short spell of 52 years, and just about 25 of those years spent with all of us. The first time I saw Murali was in a conference, and he asked some very intricate questions. And being a CA, you know CAs are very suspicious. The first impression formed in my mind was, this guy is trying to act very smart. But then, as I interacted with Murali during conferences, during personal discussions, I could sense the sincerity and the humility of this great person, who was always seeking knowledge, always trying to push the frontiers of knowledge in his life, to know more and more, to be more effective, to be a good CA, to be a good human being. to spend time with his family. Many of the speakers spoke about balancing life, about the balance sheet. I would like to speak about the profit and loss account. No doubt, his balance sheet looks good. No auditor will be able to qualify that, the balance sheet. But then the profit and loss account also. He left a great profit. The way in which he impacted the lives of people around him shows the profit that he has left. In the Bible, Paul says, "For me to live is Christ and to die is gain." It's a very intriguing passage. Of course, we know live Christ. That is somebody who is anointed. The word Christ means anointed, abhisheka. That means dedicated to a cause. But to die is gain. How can it be gain? You're leaving this world and going. Everything that is dear to you, you are just forsaking. How can it be gain? It is gain because there is an accounting principle in this universe. He has to appear before a higher auditor. He has to present his accounts. He has to show the balance sheet that is tallied. He has to show a profit and loss account where there is sufficient profit. That is the gain in death. In a short measure of time, a person who would be young enough to be my son, because I got married in October 70, he was born in May 70. He impacted the lives of the people around him. He has left a mark. And this packed hall here, you know, normally CS will come only when there are CPE credits. Without any CPE credit. Drawn by love and respect to honor the memory of a great person, we have come here. May God bless all of us, and may He continue to be a source of inspiration to not only those in His profession, His family, His friends, His well-wishers, His clients. The impact that He has left on their lives, let it be indelible. Thank you very much.
Yeah, these were the listed speakers. If anybody would like to come and speak, please, I throw it open now. Yeah, move on to the next part of the agenda. May I request Dr. Rupali will offer gratitude for all who has gathered here on celebrating the life of Muralimohan.
God saw that he was getting tired. A cure was not to be. So he put his arms around him and whispered, "Come with me." With tearful eyes, we watched him suffer and saw him fade away. Although we loved him dearly, we could not make him stay. A golden heart stopped beating, hard-working hands to rest. God broke our hearts to prove to us He only takes the best. Thank you all for being here today. I know Papa is looking down right now on this and us, and I truly believe he knows just how loved he was. As cliche as it may sound, what can I say about the world's greatest dad? He was honorable, kind, humble, responsible. He was more than fair, sweet, charismatic, gentle, and he was so loving. He was also caring and giving and had a passion unlike anything I've ever seen. He worked hard at everything he put his hands on and created magic. He silently worked towards his dreams, and his wants were very few. He never looked for praises and was never one to boast. He touched so many. He was simply put the greatest man I ever knew. He was a firm foundation through all the storms of our life. He was an incredible husband, an incredible son, an incredible brother, an incredible father, an incredible teacher, and friend. He loved life, work, and us so much. I know we have all heard this before, and I hadn't realized it until now, that life is a lot shorter than any of us realize, and you just don't know what you have until it's gone. It is sad, but I know he's not in pain and has already charmed the angels in heaven. I miss him every day. He is forever and will be my hero. But this is not a goodbye. It is a thank you. Thank you for coming into my life and loving me. Thank you for all the memories I will never forget and cherish forever. Thank you for hyping me up for the smallest achievements and being my worst critic so that I stay grounded. Thank you for teaching me to be strong, to stand on my own, for giving me support. Thank you for inspiring me to find the good in the bad, to love what I have, to always forgive but never forget, and never give up till the end. Life is unpredictable. Not everything's in our control. But with the right people, you can handle everything. Thank you, Amma, for being that person for me, for stepping into his shoes gracefully and supporting me. Thank you to the healthcare team, my family, the office staff who not only fought for him, but also supported me and Amma through one of the toughest phases of our life. I would also like to thank my other family, the MCA family, the whole CA fraternity, his clients and his friends, to all the people who have spoken such kind words about him today, and for continuing to support me and Amma through this. Thank you, CA MN Pai, CA Chandramohan and CA Prasanna Shanai, and the whole ICAI Mangalore team for organizing this event to celebrate the wonderful 51 years that Papa has lived. Thank you.
I think each one of us will miss Murli for one thing as chartered accountant, because every seminar, conference, or study circle, he would be one standing up and asking questions to the speaker. I've seen that from maybe 2000 to 1999 when I joined the committee for the last 20 years plus. So thank you, friends. As we are celebrating life of Murli, the family has arranged a few favorite snacks of Murli with a caterer, Janta Deluxe. I request each one of you to please have them before you leave the premises. Thank you very much. And those of you who would like to offer floral tributes, please come up on stage and then you can move out of the premises.